Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another video with Brooklyn. How are you all doing this morning? So anyway, I'm going to jump right into the video. I have been talking about the siege at the Capitol. And for some reason last night, I know it's the Capitol, but I kept saying the White House. So y'all disregard that if you watch my video, Capitol under siege, while Trump watches it on television. I kept saying White House, but it was the Capitol. Okay, they went to the Capitol. I knew that, but in my head, for some reason, I kept thinking White House. I don't know. So anyway, up here it was Capitol. Down here, when it got here, it changed to White House. So this morning, I'm going to read to you all a short article, okay, from Trump. This is a announcement that Trump made. I think it was via the computer, okay? So Trump pledges orderly transition after riot and Biden win certification. President Donald Trump publicly acknowledged that he would leave office on January 20th for the first time Thursday, pledging an orderly transfer of power after Congress affirmed President-elect Joe Biden's electoral college win. So I guess he did that early this morning. Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election, see, he's still inciting violence. He's still putting it out there because he knows when he says that, it makes those Proud Boys and those far right boys, I don't know where they got these names from. It makes them mad when he say things like that. So he still hasn't given up. Okay? Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear me out, nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. He know he better get his tail out of there in an orderly fashion because he done pissed everybody in Congress off. Okay, now they see him for the man that he really is. Not even a man, for the terrorist that he really is. They see what he really is. They couldn't see. I bet the scales fell off their eyes yesterday when they bum rushed the Capitol and had guns and stuff on them and was looking and busting in offices' doors. And, I bet the scales fell off their eyes yesterday. Now they see what type of person he really is. He cares for no one but himself. He's a terrorist. He's an American terrorist. He committed treason. He does not care for America or Americans whatsoever. He cares for no human being. He works for Satan. That's who he works for. Because this is not of God. Pat Robertson, Kenneth Copeland, Paula White, Hagee, Franklin Graham, and countless other ministers are going to be held responsible for this. Because I'm not even looking at the Congress people in the Senate. I'm talking about these preachers who are supposed to be spreading the word of God and preaching to people to get their souls saved. They were inciting violence too. If you vote for any Democrats, you're voting for the wrong person. And just starting riots and encouraging this man to go forth, they were in his ear. And now they have caused all this ruckus. They pushed him up to it. Nobody wants anything to do with Trump now. And they think that their hands are clean. Their hands are not clean. They are just as guilty. If you're in the car with a bank robber and they rob the bank, you have no idea that they even done it, you still go to prison. You're aiding and abetting. You're accessory to the crime. These knucklehead preachers knew what they were doing. They wanted the money, and they think now that we cut ourselves off, we're okay. No, you're not okay. You will reap what you sow. This is not a natural fight. These people think that they are fighting Congress. They think they are fighting the Senate. We're going to Capitol Hill. These are spiritual beings behind this political thing. They were fighting against God. God sets up who he wants to set up, and he brings down who he wants to bring down. He's in total control of who he wants to run things. And if you get there another way, he uses you to do what he wants you to do. He wanted people to see what kind of people they were dealing with. He wanted the American people and the whole world to see what kind of people were hiding behind these desks and the American flag. And he used Trump to bring it out. Now they can't stand the man. So He says, even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear me out, nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th, Trump said in the statement, repeating false claims he made throughout the last 2 months. I have always said we would continue our fight to ensure that only legal votes were counted. While this represents the end of the greatest first term in presidential history, he is delusional. And anyone else that agrees with that statement, that this is the greatest first term in the presidential history, they're delusional too. It's only the beginning of our fight to make America great again. He tore America down, worse than what it was before he even got in office. Trump, who has refused to concede the election, had on Wednesday egged on supporters who would later storm the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to stop lawmakers from counting the electoral votes. The riot left 4 people dead, 1 woman was shot, and 3 others had medical emergencies, according to the police, and left some of Trump's cabinet holding preliminary talks about invoking the 25th Amendment to remove him from office. They should have been put him out of office. He's still sitting in office. It's like they're afraid of him. He's still there. They should have had him arrested. After a speech filled with lies and misrepresentations that incensed the crowd, Trump returned to the White House to watch the violent act to his constant spreading of misinformation about the electoral process. So what he did was he egged them on, got them to go down there, got some of them killed while he sat at home and watched the foolery on his television. Okay? These preachers and anyone else who encouraged this mess through Trump used him as a vessel to keep their bankroll coming in. They are just as guilty. It's just like they pulled the trigger. It's just like they were at the riots and they caused this because they encouraged him. Just like if I go and I put a hit out on somebody, okay, and the person that I hired to do the hit, they carry it out. When they get caught, if they tell on me, I go to jail too. I go to prison too, right along with them, because I encourage them to do that. So these ministers that's sitting up here on these pedestals, now they're hiding because you haven't heard anyone come to Trump's defense now. They were defending him before. They all backed off and left him. They're cowards, right? So now, all of them that's been backing him, Giuliani, where's his lawyers? I haven't heard from his lawyer. All of them, they are just as guilty. They all have to answer. They all have to pay. From the rioters to the people on Capitol Hill to the ministers. And I will say the ministers are higher than the political office because they are supposed to be representing God. So it's the rioters, the people that working on Capitol Hill, and then the president, and then the church. They're the highest because they are working for God, supposedly. Not. Okay? So it says, after a speech filled with lies and misrepresentation that incensed the crowd, Trump returned to the White House to watch the violent act to his constant spreading of misinformation about the electoral process. The mob broke into the Capitol, stormed both the House and Senate floor, and Trump supporters could be seen lounging in the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office. A woman was shot and killed in the chaos. Police have yet to release more details about her death. Republicans and Democrats alike condemned the rioters for breaching the U.S. Capitol, and several lawmakers blamed Trump for the violence that broke out that delayed the certification of Biden's victory for several hours. Now, I'm understanding that this process only took like a half an hour in the past. Okay? They held the Capitol hostage, basically. I see them scaling the walls. They were on the scaffolds, going up to the roof, breaking the windows, cussing in the White House, guns, shooting. It was ridiculous. I mean, not the White House. Here I go again. The Capitol. In remarks Wednesday afternoon, Biden called on Trump to appear on national television to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege. On Wednesday night, undeterred by the violence and the threats, lawmakers returned to the House chamber to continue counting the votes. Trump did not say in his statement whether he plans to attend the inauguration of Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris on January 20th. Okay? This is just crazy. He is supposed to protect the Constitution, right? Protect Capitol Hill. The White House is supposed to be protected. Where were the Secret Service people? Where were the military? Where were, just besides the police, where were bodyguards? Shoot, where was a mall cop? Where was a mall cop? It's like everybody disappeared. In my head, I'm thinking, did Trump tell them not to show up because he knew it was going to be some assassinations going on? Because they found Nancy Pelosi's office. They just went to her house and left a pig's head. I told y'all that's mob talk. When they leave an animal head on your porch or in your house in the bed, that's a hit. That's telling you this is what's going to happen to you. So they went and found her office. God forbid if she had been in there, she'd be dead probably, I'm sure. They had to get Pence out of the Capitol because they was going to get Pence. Trump turned them on to Pence, making them believe that Pence could overturn everything, knowing Pence can't because he wanted them to get Pence. They went after Pence. Had to get Pence out. On falsery, you know? Where were all the security people? The Secret Service standing around with their hands on their ears and the dark shades on, like Men in Black. Nowhere to be found. The police was out there probably scared to death. From the videos I seen, they were punching people. They wasn't even shooting. That was outside. In the White House, in the Capitol, I guess they started shooting. I don't know. People got killed. People got killed. I'm assuming they got shot. You know, maybe the police started opening fire because they were shooting. The rioters had guns. They even found a bomb somewhere nearby the Capitol. Okay? They were coming to destroy. But when Black Lives Matter was having their rally, Trump pepper sprayed them, and it was a peaceful demonstration. He pepper sprayed them, threatened to call out dogs, had military there. It got violent when they encouraged violence toward the Black Lives Matter demonstration. Okay? Trump did all that so he can go across the street and stand in front of a church and hold the Bible upside down. That's sacrilegious. He knew exactly what he was doing. Anyone who has watched The Exorcist and all kinds of possessed. When you watch somebody that's possessed, and they are having an exorcism. When you look at the walls and everything in these horror movies, the cross is hung upside down. The cross is hung upside down in a possessing movie. Okay? He went across the street and held the Bible upside down. He knew what he was doing. Trump is not stupid. Okay? And my words are getting twisted, so excuse me. But anybody who has watched that, the exorcisms, the Exorcist movie, the possession of Emily Rose, you see the cross is upside down. If it's up straight, it flips upside down. Okay? He had them sprayed. The army or whoever was there before the Black Lives Matter arrived at Capitol Hill or wherever they was at, the White House, the army or whoever was already there. All this was taking place yesterday. They said the National Guard or whoever said we're on our way. But they were called ahead of time. So I'm like, they've been inciting this violence for over 2 weeks now. So the Capitol should have been prepared. They said they were coming. I think it was the Proud Boys, somebody called the far-right boys, the supremacists. I think they was all mixed in together. But who in the world, the supremacists think they're supreme, I guess. The Proud Boys, I guess they proud to be little boys. Because that's what they acting like, little boys. Little boys don't even act like that. My grandson said he want to move to France with all this going on. He 9. Okay? The far-right boys, they just move far right off a cliff. Because they just stupid. I mean, and these names, it's just ridiculous. Y'all be careful, okay? I mean, he's still inciting violence. So at the inauguration on January 20th, it may be another riot because he's still refusing to actually concede in his own way by saying, even though I don't believe that we should have lost and blah, 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 you know, he's still putting out lies. And these people are still going to follow him. They're still going to believe what Trump is saying. And I don't really believe that they think that the votes have been stolen. I think that this is just something that they want to do. They want to believe the lie so they can continue to do what they want to do. But deep down inside, these people know that the votes have not been stolen, that everything was counted fairly. They know that. This is just something that they want to do. They want to be able to bully themselves into the White House, into the Capitol, and take over. So if they can get away with this, they would go to the White House. If Trump was put back in the White House, they would just walk up into the White House and sit down. They would be eating dinner with Trump because he's trashy and ghetto. You know? So with that being said, I'm going to say Phil Danke. That's thank you very much in German. So Phil Danke for watching me. And choose, that's what? That's bye in German.